So there's one other problem I want to tell you a little bit about. Before that, I'm going to break for admin stuff. So there's two handouts. I hope you all got them, or at least will get them after class. I know you all know how to read, so the last thing I'm going to do is waste your time going over in some detail handout number 1. I do, of course, expect you to read all of it and know what's in it. That talks about the course deliverables, policies, and so on. Maybe I'll just review one key point, which is probably on many of your minds, which is, what do you got to do? So let me just go over that and take questions. So a lot of the work in this class is problem sets. There will be 7. And we'll drop your lowest score. And so that'll be a total of 180 points. Each one is 30 points. They go out on Thursdays. First one will go out next class this week. Each one is due 8 days later, so it's not due in class, but rather it's due on Friday of the week following to which it was assigned. It's due by noon, promptly, please. You should turn it in. You should turn in a hard copy to a file cabinet, which is in the Gates 1B wing. All of this information is also in handout number 1. There's no late days. That's one of the reasons why we dropped the lowest. Okay, so definitely just turn in whatever you've got Friday at noon, even if you didn't finish it. That's what I want to say about homeworks. I guess it's, so there's often questions about the collaboration policy and so on. I've included a lot of details about that on handout number 1. But if anything is unclear, please feel free to ask me or the TAs at any points. There will be a programming project instead of a midterm. The programming project will also have a contest, which is an opportunity for some extra credit points. That was a big hit last year. So we may use one of the projects we've used in previous years. We may use a new one that's still under discussion. So I'll tell you more about the project in a couple of weeks. But in any case, that's going to be 70 points.
Will it be a pair project?
Yeah, pairs will be allowed, yeah. 1 or 2 people. And there's a final. The final is in class, 3 hours. 150 points. Currently, we were blessed with receiving the very last exam slot, Friday at 12:15. I'm not very happy about that. I imagine a lot of you are not very happy about that. So we'll have to discuss that. Not today. But we'll have to figure out what to do about that. But there will definitely be a 3-hour in-class final during finals week. Okay? With 150 points. So that's it. That's what you got to do. Questions about what's expected of you, about the class more generally? Yep.
Actually, I have a question about the programming project.
Sure.
What language is that going to be in?
So it's going to be up to what the TAs feel like supporting. In the past, it's normally been sort of C or Java. But I haven't yet designated the TAs in charge of the project. But feel free to ask again in like 2 weeks, and we should know more.
So for the textbook, will easily have CLRs around?
I would say it would be useful to have CLRS if different students prefer the styles of different algorithms books. So all algorithms books are sort of loved by some and less loved by others. And so if you really prefer the style in CLRS to Kleinberg-Tardosch, I suggest it would be useful. If you are at least as comfortable with the style in Kleinberg-Tardosch as CLRS, I don't see a strong need for it. There will be one part of one lecture, which is in CLRS and not Kleinberg-Tardosch, but I don't think that's enough reason to really have the book. So, other questions?
It's going to do the handout, and you mentioned there are challenge problems.
Right. Right, so the homeworks will include sort of extra credit. And basically, So one of the sort of fun parts, but also one of the challenges of teaching this class is the diversity of all of you. So, there's lots of students who are coming, who are sophomores coming straight out of the discrete math sequence. I have PhD students who are just get out of a comprehensive exam. I mean, it spans the gamut. And so on the one hand, the homeworks I want to be challenging yet fair to those of you who are coming straight out of discrete math sequence, but I don't want the most advanced students to be bored. And so the way I've done this is I have extra credit problems, which, in all honesty, I don't recommend you attempting unless you find the rest of the stuff really easy. So because it'll be like 8 extra credit points, and it'll be 4 times as hard as a normal problem or something like that. So that time would just be better spent getting 30 problems than working on the extra credit. But some people, really get seduced by, I try to ask juicy problems. Some people get seduced, spend tons of time on it, and seem to really enjoy it. I have them there to kind of, suck in the people who really want, sink their teeth into something really hard. So that's the nature of the challenge problems. But again, I think if you want to sort of minimize the time commitment while doing well in this class, so I got to be honest, like that minimum is still pretty high, at least when I teach this. But much better is to just make sure you get close to full credit on the normal problems as the course proceeds, and then that's a much more time-effective way than trying to make up lost points later via the extra credit problems. Okay, so I wouldn't recommend that latter strategy. Other questions? Everybody clear on the expectations?